Salutations, everybody. It is Maddie here today. Hope you're all doing absolutely excellent. Today, we're diving into Elder Scrolls 6 to open up our weekend. Simple question, but also a big topic. Can they do it? And Maddie, why are you...
I'm not going to lie. I think they can do it. It just depends on when they do it. That's the big thing. When they want to post Elder Scrolls 6, they have to make sure it's like in a window where GTA 6 isn't in the same year. They can't just be like, oh yeah, GTA 6 is like, they cannot post it in 2026. That's just my take. They cannot post it in 2026. They're cooked.
Randomly talking about if Bethesda can pull this off or not. We still got a couple of years. We still need to see if Starfield turns it around. Well, two things.
Bro, Starfield is not turning it around. I guarantee you Starfield is not turning it around. The only issue is that I think Starfield is a good game, though, compared to a lot of other games that they just were like, yeah, we'll make this one. No, Starfield is a good game. It's just not the best. That's the problem, is that my expectations for Bethesda are really high. So when I see something like Starfield come out, I'm just like, the fuck? But if I had an Xbox, Series X, I would play it.
Brought this game to my mind. The first is I'm continuing my Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 journey. We'll have a final verdict video out sometime soon, I hope. But too long didn't read, and as expected by many of you, I've been loving it. This game echoes a lot of Bethesda Game Studio style game design, but with the freedom and the writing quality I hope that they reach for with Elder Scrolls 6. And in thinking about Bethesda's future, I do think a bit about what Warhorse is doing and how they've lapped Bethesda in a lot of ways. In fact, I think it's a better comparison than how the people talked about.
Bro, Bethesda, I'm not going to lie. The only companies I see that could lap Bethesda have to be Activision or Rockstar. There's a couple other, maybe Ubisoft, I don't know. But I don't think Bethesda's getting lapped. Skyrim is one of the most greatest games of all time. I mean, it's one of the most outselling games of all time. It has a top 10. Like, I know Minecraft, Roblox, Fortnite, GTA 5 are like easily up there. Like, they're probably in the top 5. Skyrim is in the top 10 though. I know for a fact Skyrim's in the top 10. Like, they has to be. But then not even just Skyrim, they have Oblivion. And they have all the Fallout catalog. Fallout 3, Fallout New Vegas, Fallout 4. Fallout 76 isn't the best game in the world, I'm not going to lie. But Fallout in general, they have like two aces up their sleeve. Especially Skyrim. And, Skyrim is one of their biggest, that's like GTA 5 for them. And the hype for Elder Scrolls 6 is real. So I don't think another game, especially, come on.
Say The Witcher versus Fallout 4 when 2015 was going.
Bro, I love The Witcher, but I'm not going to put The Witcher over Fallout 4. And that may just be me as a person. Like, I don't have The Witcher other than Nintendo Switch. I have it on Nintendo Switch. I'm actually going to play it once I hop off stream today. But I don't put The Witcher above Fallout 4. Nah.
Going on, or how people were comparing Starfield and Baldur's Gate. I feel this is much more of a one-to-one comparison. So just the recent game I'm playing has Elder Scrolls 6 on the mind. But we also got a write-in on Defining Duke just asking if Bethesda can do it. Like, the wait has been tremendous. The public's kind of against them thanks to 76 and Starfield back-to-back. And some people even found Fallout 4 to be a disservice to the franchise, which I understand. So, again...
Bro, I'm tired of that. I actually am tired of that. It's not like I love Fallout 4 to death. Like, oh my God, Fallout 4 is the GOAT. But Fallout 4 is definitely, in my opinion, a top 5 Bethesda game. Like, I think Skyrim, obviously, by fans' favorite, is number 1. I think Oblivion would be number 2. But, there's Fallout New Vegas, Fallout 3. There's a bunch of Doom games they've released. But, it really... Fallout 4 is the top 5. Fallout 4 is probably number 5 or number 4. I wouldn't put Fallout 3 or Fallout New Vegas or Oblivion below it. So, yeah, I would say it's probably number 5. I can't sit here and be like, oh, Fallout 4 is so trash. Oh, my God. Fallout 4 is goated, bro. It's not that bad.
It's a big question. Can they do it? Now, if we're talking dollars and cents, I feel that conversation's over on if they can do it. If Oblivion remake sales are anything to go by, the Elder Scrolls IP is still very strong. Hell.
Yeah, I do think, I think personally that if they decide to do a Morrowind remake or remaster, it definitely would be even though it probably wouldn't hit as much as Oblivion, it would definitely be a selling moment. For the fact that they could pull as many as they did for Oblivion, I mean, when I played Oblivion, it was big. And it was already in question within the first 2 weeks that it was Game of the Year. It already was outselling some of the games that were released in the beginning part of the year. I have no idea what the standings are right now, but I do think Oblivion Remastered is a top 5, top 10 game of the year easily. Maybe not even maybe number 1, but I don't know for sure. But I do know Oblivion took over 2025. Like 2025 in general was like, that's definitely something you would talk about. I think they should just take advantage of it. Do Fallout 3 Remastered, do Fallout New Vegas Remastered, do Skyrim and Morrowind. Even though Skyrim is sort of like, I was talking to someone about it. It was like, Skyrim might not be a good case for them to remaster, but if they did do it, I wouldn't be mad. I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh my God, why they remaster it? Skyrim was made in 2011, 2012, around that range where it's a decade and a half old now. Okay, so, you sort of got to think about, what they're working with. And it's like, if they made it look like Oblivion and maybe even better, then hey, I'm not mad at that. That would definitely appease the new generation of people that want to play the game. But Skyrim still, at the end of the day, is a playable game for the new generation. Same with Fallout 4 and Fallout 76. That's why Fallout 4 and 76 are not even on the table for remastered. You cannot remaster those. I think, personally speaking, if Fallout 3 gets remastered, it would take over what Fallout 4 has. Because that's a big thing with Fallout 3, is that it had one of the best storylines that Bethesda mainly kept up with. Of course, when Obsidian took over with Fallout New Vegas, that was, Fallout New Vegas was flawless. And it was only made in like a year and a couple months. Fallout 3 would overtake that. The only thing is what they're going to do with the remaster. They better make sure that the sky is fucking green and everything still looks like shit. Because I'm not going to lie, I do want it to feel like a Fallout universe, not some, like, I don't know. Like Oblivion's fucking, the way it looked, it really looked like a fucking painting. Like blue sky, super green grass. It reminds me of a Zelda game almost, but in a whole nother 3D mechanics. Like, it just looked completely different with its own little thing going on. But it was so beautiful though. I hope they can keep that up with the remaster for Fallout 3, because that's next.
Bethesda Game Studios as a brand and their ability to market is strong. As an Xbox and PC exclusive title, still to this day, Starfield was a top-selling game in 2023, which I consider to be one of the best video game years ever. So, if we're talking from a bit...
2023 was definitely... It's weird because 2023 was the year that I got into Nintendo. I didn't have the Nintendo Switch at all. I only had the 3DS and Wii. And I had a Wii U for a little bit there. But I never bought the Nintendo Switch until 2023 because I think Tears of the Kingdom came out, and I got it literally almost right when it dropped, around the period of time it dropped. And I remember it was hyped up as fuck. I love Tears of the Kingdom, and I love Breath of the Wild, and Zelda is one of my favorite games of all time. So 2023 was a big year for me to start gaming and start streaming and keeping up with shit. I wasn't even thinking about streaming. I wasn't thinking about playing games at all. For 2-3 years there, I was like, I'm not playing no games. I'm just doing what I have to do, work, And then 2023 came around, and it was like, oh, shit. I started playing Fallout 3 again, Fallout New Vegas. I'm sitting in my room at 3 a.m. playing Fallout New Vegas, playing fucking Breath of the Wild, just to get a glimpse of what I used to play on my friend's Nintendo Switch back in 2017. I think 2023 was a beautiful year in general. I don't know. 2024 was a good year too, but I don't know. 2026 is definitely the year that it's going to change a lot of shit. I don't know. GTA 6 is coming out.
Business angle, can they do it? I think it's already done.
Yeah, they can definitely
creatively and delivering. I think that's a much more broad conversation that I'd like to explore.
Can
today.
they stick?
So, of course, no doubt, I'll hear from you down below. Please fire away. Would love to hear from you. But otherwise, let's dive into this because I have a lot of thoughts. I'll start with a little bit of optimism and then sort of whittle away at that throughout the course of the video. I do think, despite the pessimism around Bethesda, they are one sentence away from getting our interest. The consumer is far more educated than ever, and that shows with purchasing decisions being made, how games that should fail are failing, and so on. There's no more wool over our eyes. So that's why I use the word interest. To me, all I think Bethesda needs to say when they step out on stage and talk about Elder Scrolls 6 is, quote, everything you see here is handcrafted and placed, and there aren't any loading screens, end quote. I think it's that single one fell swoop statement that can address a lot of the core issues with Starfield, while also bringing Bethesda back to what we both think they're good at, but also what they should always be doing, which is making one continuous open world space that
Yeah.
reacts to the things you do. However, besides that core focus of Starfield being an issue, this game, alongside 76, introduced a lot more problems in how Bethesda looks at their games. And as I've covered before, this really began with the success of Skyrim and how Bethesda interpreted
it. I don't know. I think Skyrim definitely was a starting point. It's just they put all their money and budget into something that was what the fans and what people who love the game for wasn't there. Of course, someone who doesn't know what Bethesda is and knows what the games really are and how the RPG elements work, of course, you know, oh my God, better graphics, holy shit, oh, it looks so good. But it's a storyline that really carries for a lot of Bethesda games. And they went, I'm not going to lie, I think Fallout was probably the last of it. Fallout 4 was the last of it. You know, Morrowind was definitely the beginning arc, but I wasn't big on Morrowind, but I do consider Morrowind a part of it. I think they went 5 for 5 easily. You know, half of Morrowind there, all the way from Fallout 3, Fallout New Vegas, you know, Skyrim, and fucking Fallout 4. They went 5 for 5, you know, whichever take you want. I honestly didn't play Morrowind, so I like to put that to Fallout 4 and a little bit of Morrowind there. But they had a good run there. But then, you know, Fallout 76 came out, and I remember when that came out because I was playing Fallout 4 on a fucking PC. Well, not on a PC, but a laptop, an Acer laptop. Wasn't big at all, and my laptop was fucked up, super fucked up. I mean, it's broken now. I don't have it no more. I had it for like 2 years. I got it that Christmas, played Fallout 4 on it. Didn't have Xbox One for a while. But when 76 came out, it was big. But then it was like, what the fuck? And that's my one fear, is that it's the same thing with Starfield. Starfield was big when it dropped. Like, they could pull the numbers. It's just, can they keep them? Like, that's the big thing that they need to have, where someone who's never played the game before, let's say, you know, Elder Scrolls 6, someone's never played the game before, they don't have the new console, and they're waiting to play the game. Like, oh, I don't have a new console. 2 years later, they're still buying the game, you know? Like, 3 years later, they're still buying the game because the hype is there, and it's still a real game to play, and it's not just some fucking, like, you know, some random song that pops off 60 million views and then it never gets, you know, 10 million views at all anymore. That's how I look at it with Starfield and, you know, Fallout 76. It had a good drop, and then it fell off. And that was the big thing. It fell off, like, within, like, a month. But, you know, Fallout 76 definitely is up on a rise because of the show. I think, honestly, personally, that's why they need to take advantage of it and do a remaster of Fallout 3 or New Vegas. If they do New Vegas, I would be way more happy, but they're not. Like, even my friend, he deadass was telling me he doesn't have an Xbox, any of the newer consoles. He doesn't have a PS5. He doesn't have an Xbox Series S or X. And when his bonus hits at work, he's going to get the X. And immediately he's going to get Oblivion. That's the type of thing I'm talking about right there, where it's like, it's been almost, 9 months since they dropped that, and he's going to get a new console just to play it. That's the one thing he's like, I'm going to play that. And whenever they drop Elder Scrolls 6, I'm going to play that. That's the type of thing I'm talking about, where it's like, you have people that are like, I wish I had that game. I wish I did. I don't have the console. Then that's how it keeps going. It's the people that aren't able to get it will get it because of that. You know, like, I didn't get an Xbox Series X just because of Starfield. You know, I would have gotten it, but I was like, nah. But, you know, I didn't get GTA 5 at all for a while, and then I got it 5 years later. So, you know, that's how it works. You know, that waiting game for the fans. So, you know, some people just can't get it, or the hype is there for a long time and they get it. That's how it works.
But let's dive a little bit deeper. It's about the shifting business model first and foremost. Bethesda created a lot of goodwill over the years by shipping what I think were some of the best-in-class DLC and also some of the worst-in-class DLC, no doubt about it. You got Horse Armor, but you also got Shivering Isle. You would get a $60 game, it would knock your socks off. 300 hours later, you're still finding new things to do. No updates required. Now, we're in a day and age where Bethesda's games function as live service titles. Excluding 76, the obvious live service title, you look at Starfield, and while Todd did deny this when I asked him about it, I still view Bethesda Game Studios games as live service games. They're continuously updated. They're always adding a little bit something here or there. And I think the same thing's about to happen to Fallout 4 this year, as we've discussed. creations have entirely changed the fabric of Bethesda Game Studios games. What was once we will handle making the best possible game we can, and then you can add on top of it, has become a bit of, I would say, too much of a collaboration and almost being viewed as, by many, Bethesda leaning on their community to fill gaps in their game. It's a double-edged sword because I know a lot of modders and I know how hard they work, and I feel they should get paid for their work because they've done it for free for a while. And I always bring that comparison back to YouTube, where I bust my ass, I know many people bust their ass, and many of us did it for free for a while, and it's great to be able to put more energy, time, and effort into the thing we really care about after doing it for free for so long and just earn a living doing it. So
yeah, that's so true. I don't know why, but the inspiration behind YouTube, and honestly anything you do for free for a while, you know, to build up to monetization or build to anything, it's a inspiration. And the thing is with a lot of people is they might get lost in the sauce. I didn't get lost in the sauce at all, but I definitely did start, you know, I was like, I'm not touching, I'm touching maybe 200, 300 a month. I'm like, okay, let me start working a job. Let me start doing things. Like, I was working a job already, but I was like, let me pick up like 70 hours, 80 hours a week just for the fuck of it. I'm young. I'm in my early 20s. It's like, let me just do it. Let me just clutch up. And, I think that road to build up to what you want to do and you do it for fun, it has way more meaning to it than when you get paid. When you get paid, it's sort of like, I don't know, it's like you look forward to a check versus looking forward to growing your community and having fun with the people that watch you, and like enjoy what their presence means to you. That's the big part about when I first started out, was when I first started playing on live streams, really, was with Fallout New Vegas and Oblivion, the original one. I started realizing, like, I love building a community and I enjoy talking to them, and oh shit, I'm getting 20 viewers, 30 viewers, 40 viewers. That shit makes me happy. And to come back and really just, that's the problem with a lot of things, is like you focus a lot on money, and that's a big aspect in life too. Like a lot of people, as much as you hate to admit it, money is the whole thing. You need to make enough money to live. If I was to make 1,000 to 2,000, 3,000, something like that, not even too crazy, I wouldn't give a fuck. It is what it is. If I'm averagely making a living wage, it wouldn't matter. I would go hop back into my inspiration of just enjoying my community. But, it's definitely time consuming, and it definitely takes a toll depending on what time you stream and what you do. Of course, I'm streaming late as fucking night every day. I stream at like 6 a.m., 5 a.m., 4 a.m., 8 a.m. all the time. I'm up in the morning, I basically work a night shift on streaming every day. And, it definitely took a toll on me. At first, though, I really loved it. And once I got monetized, I was like, this is cool. But I think that's the thing, is that money definitely takes the power over you, where you stop forgetting about what you started for in the first place, which was to build a community and have people to talk to and enjoy, watching videos or playing games with. That's the big thing about streaming, is you got to enjoy the people that are around you and watching you.
It's that double-edged sword where I'm in support of creations for the people, but also I see the argument, and I do agree with parts of it, on how bringing mods into the fabric of the business model so closely has become a quick way for Bethesda to basically allow their community to fill in the gaps. I used to never really co-sign that argument until much more recently, if you've watched my content. But the shifting business model has been something Bethesda's been pioneering for a while, but really other games and their failure to success journeys have also opened the door for. Everyone's looking for their No Man's Sky. Everyone's saying we can be the next Cyberpunk 2077, but the reality is, at least in my case with Cyberpunk, I'm less of a fan of No Man's Sky, is that within all that was still an incredible video game. It was just...
That's crazy. I'm playing Cyberpunk 77 right now on this channel. That's crazy. Yeah, Cyberpunk 77, it is one of those things too, where it's like with most games, it's like, I generally do want to find a way to make my own video game, or maybe develop a game that's on, like a game that's already created, maybe a server that's, even Fortnite. Like, I've been seeing things on Fortnite where it's like, I could possibly create a server or a, one of those games that pops up on your page and you play it. But there's definitely love in the game before you start popping off, and then you really want that one video or one game, whatever you're doing. It's like that one day at work. You're working your job, you're doing your shift, and you got a holiday pay, And it happens to be your holiday pay is on a Friday, which is your overtime pay. And next thing you know, you're getting like triple, quadruple, whatever the fuck of your check, or you usually would work. And you're making what you make in a week's worth in a fucking day. You know, it's certain things like that where you're just like, you're anticipating something great to happen. And it doesn't always happen, but when it does happen, you're definitely happy for it. I'd rather have consistency and, you know, normal numbers. I wouldn't want to have 1 million views on my channel and then the rest of it be 1,000. I'd rather just have a couple hundred and 1,000. I wouldn't want to have 1 million views just sticking out. You know, like I'd rather have a consistent people, you know, the same community. But with gaming, you know, you sort of are hitting the lottery where it's like you make a game, it flops. It's like movies nowadays. You make movies, these movies aren't really doing good. I mean, they might do certain numbers, but you're really not breaking the bank unless you're fucking posted on TikTok or YouTube Shorts 24/7. And, you know, like The Boys, you know, like The Boys when it first started was a good show, but it wasn't really hyped up that much. Next thing you know, people are anticipating season 5 like it's the fucking New Year's drop. Like we're waiting for it like it's fucking, oh shit, what's going to happen? You know, it all starts out very humbling and then it ends into a, you know, entrepreneur status where it's like, oh, what are we going to get out of this? What's the money at?
Buried in bugs and glitches, and then beyond those, they continue to add improvements to the game.
Yeah,
when
Cyberpunk
Bethesda was at their best, for many of us, they were shipping single-player games, premium games, and then shipping you DLC to add on top of it, and then the modders would really get to work. But nowadays, it's buying mods, Bethesda selling you quests, also through their own creation system, and then on top...
I think the problem with that is Game Pass. Game Pass literally is the problem with that. People are getting paid per hour from Game Pass. They're not making money the way they should be. They should be selling the game, and things should just work like that. Versus, oh, well, we are on Game Pass for free. I knew people who had Starfield for free on Xbox. You know, like when Oblivion dropped remastered, I had to pay $50 for it. But on Game Pass, you get it for free. So it completely, it fucks up the whole, like, you know, I don't understand it. I don't get Game Pass when it comes down to new games that come out. Like, it's like either just wait for it to come on Game Pass or just pay for it. Game Pass shouldn't be filled with new games. Like, it doesn't inspire the company or, you know, the organization of games where it make the games better. No, it doesn't. It makes it worse. Because now they're just like, oh, it's a Game Pass game. So, fuck it. We're just going to make it whatever the fuck we want. That's why we're not getting good games on Xbox in general. Game Pass is a good thing, but it's not really helping the community when it comes down to making really great games, blockbuster games. They're not happening as much. And it's only going to get worse. But, I mean, you know, it's free games regardless. So, I don't know. I think companies really do need to talk about that where it's like, hey, like there's got to be a year or two wait. Like, I can't get on premium PS5 and get Spider-Man 2 right now. I mean, I might be able to get it now, but it's been a year or two since it dropped. So, you know, there should be a waiting period before you should get it on Game Pass, just so that people actually buy the game. And it makes the game better because, oh, well, you could actually sell the game. It's not on Game Pass for fucking an hourly wage for the company. Like, bro, what? It makes the game worse. Like, Game Pass should be filled with fucking Flappy Bird and Happy Wheels. Like, it shouldn't be filled with, like, brand new games. Oh, my God, it just dropped. Like, even me from a standpoint where, oh, my God, I get the game for free. I don't give a fuck, bro. I want the company to create a good game. I wouldn't mind paying $40, $50 for a game that just dropped. Of course, $100 is like, I'm not paying that shit. Let's be real. I'm not paying $100 for a game unless it's GTA 6. But let's be real. I think it would make the game better. Like, I'm not trying to do this Game Pass shit for much longer.
Top of that, gradual updates, which are always exciting and interesting and give the game a fighting chance, like something with Starfield. Still very interested to see what their second wave of content's going to be. But removing that component and being able to fix it later has opened the door for not just Bethesda, but a lot of RPG developers to miss pretty big at launch and get it right in a couple of years. It's hard to imagine now, but just looking at Starfield, there's a world where they address all of the core complaints with the game and make it what we wanted it to be, but it's also 2026 by the time we get that. And there's a very uncomfortable feeling about that with how games are going and role-playing games are going. So I just look at that first, the business model. Can they do it? Can they make an Elder Scrolls 6 really great within that business model. And no doubt, out of everything we've talked about in these recent game releases, I think the biggest game of them all will be Elder Scrolls 6. So are they really motivated? Are they inclined to shift that business model to something more premium, where it's not about the gradual updates, but like, here you go, and we'll see you in 5-6 months for your next big expansion? It's tough to imagine, I'm going to be honest with you, just with the way games are made nowadays. But the focus shift beyond the business also comes to design. It's things that I've heard Bethesda say before, but also just how they've been making their games since Fallout 4. So one thing Todd Howard said with Starfield that was a pretty funny quote leading into launch, but then playing it, it has not aged well, is when he defined the game as irresponsibly large. Now, I'm always one to be pro developers having fun, like make the game you want to make the game that you dream about. But Starfield does provide insight on what happens when you do what Todd said. You made it irresponsibly large, and yeah, you checked off that box of like 1,000 players. Like, they did that, and that's something to be proud of, no doubt. But it came at a tremendous cost that has been restated over and over, so I'll spare you that. But this is something Bethesda likes to do now. They shoot for big over substance, quantity over quality. And I think the best example is Starfield, not just because it's the easy game to kick around, but because I'm one of the people who thinks Starfield genuinely has a lot of great content within it. But as I've defined it in our retrospective over on Retro Rebound, it's kind of a needle in the haystack situation when you drop in there. Like, you find this one needle and you're like, oh my God, wow, that was actually really good. Like, for me, it's the UC Vanguard questline. I'm like, that kicks a lot of ass. I still defend that questline. I think it is awesome. But then surrounding it and trying to find other stuff that's like that is very difficult. And part of that is because the game is irresponsibly large, and that's because it's filled with a bunch of fluff content that's not...
They gotta stop moving into that large range where, oh, the game is gonna, take about like 1,900 hours for you to get done. Like, no. Let's aim for a lower range of hours, because a lot of players, Fallout New Vegas does not take you that long to play. It does take you a long time. It might take you a week or two, depending on how long you play it per day, and what you're doing per day. But I have a rule in my mind where I'll play Fallout New Vegas probably twice a year, full through playthroughs. I'm about to do another playthrough on this channel after I'm done with Cyberpunk. I'm about to hop right back into Fallout New Vegas, just for the love of the game. It's an addiction. I need to hit that thing 2 times a fucking year, and it's about to hit that time of the year. That's the type of thing I'm talking about, where, like, when did Fallout New Vegas come out? What was it, 2009, 2010? It's been 15 years since it dropped. So I'm still playing it to this day twice a year. And that attracts more people to play it, regardless, like people who watch me play it, or people who I tell, hey, I play Fallout New Vegas. What the fuck is the hype about it? You're playing it twice a year. Hold up. They play it. That type of thing is a big deal versus, oh, fucking 15 years later, I'm still playing the game, and I haven't, I probably went through 2 playthroughs of it in 15 years. Like, get the fuck out of here, bro. I'd rather go through the game 20 times in 15 years and go through it 2 times in 15 years. It doesn't add up to me.
Not needed, like delivering Terra Brew coffee to someone in New Atlantis. Like, it adds literally nothing to the game except the idea of content. So I think getting away from that and making something responsibly large would be a step forward for Elder Scrolls 6. But also shifting things that I'm in disagreement with some of the Bethesda community on. One is recurrent legendary loot. This was introduced in Fallout 4. I did not like it there. Yes, even in my fanboy state,
I hate it. Like, Fallout 4 is not a game you could start out on. I played it for a while. Like, probably Fallout 4 I played more out of any game. Of course, Minecraft is up there. Maybe GTA 5 too. But Fallout 4 is one of the games that I played almost as much as Fallout New Vegas. And I always, every time I come back, let's say I take a week off of playing Fallout 4. I hop back in and I'm like, where the fuck are what weapon is this? I don't remember using this. I don't remember, because of all these fucking names, bro. Like Stalker's Rapid fucking pipe rifle, bro. Get the fuck out of here. Once I see pipe rifle, I'm throwing it in the trash. I'm selling it. I don't want to have a pipe rifle in my fucking, I just don't want it, bro. I don't want to be real. I don't get it. I think that was the one downfall of Fallout over the years, was that, and Fallout 76 definitely added on to it. But Fallout 4 was not bad. It's just that really is the issue, is the fact that they just add like legendary rapid fire, ultra, sigma, fucking pipe rifle. Like, I don't give a fuck about, like, why is there so many different names for it? It fucks me up. It's like, what's this difference between this difference? Like, oh, it does this before. Like, I don't give a fuck, bro. Like, just make normal weapons and then have like certain weapons that are special. It makes special weapons stand out way more. Because I don't even know what's special anymore. All of it's special, which makes it normal. And then the guns that actually are normal in the other games aren't even normal. They're just like below average. You don't want them. So, you know, they need to fix that. That's why I don't think they should make a Fallout 5. I'm not going to lie. I think they should really hold off about making a Fallout 5. They'll definitely make an Elder Scrolls 6, you know, before 2030. I personally think it'll be 2028. Like, mark my words, I think 2028 is the year they drop Elder Scrolls 6. But after that, I don't think they'll drop a Fallout 5 for a while. I don't know. It might be past 2030. I do think, though, that if they do drop a new Fallout, it should be New Vegas, too. Or something in the West. They shouldn't drop just a normal East Coast Fallout 5. Fuck the East Coast, bro. That's not where anything happens. We need the West. I want to see the master in real time.
Did not like legendary loot. I just thought this took away from the iconic, unique loot that Bethesda had given us. 76 took it a step further because they're a live service game, so they're always going to be pumping you with new loot, new legendaries. And
yeah.
I think even when they introduced 4 stars, I'm like, God, let it go. But in 76's defense, they've also started to balance it out with more unique weaponry for big events, guaranteeing drops for them. So I think they've done a good job creating a balancing act there, at least for me as a Bethesda Game Studios traditionalist, if you will. But the legendary loot to me got really out of hand with Starfield. I'm like, this is a single player game, and all these weapons look and feel the same in a sci-fi world that has all these planets and all these different energy sources. Like, how is this even possible? It doesn't match up with the lore. It's easy to make a lot of, quote, exciting loot when you can basically recycle assets and randomize stat buffs and how many stat buffs are attached to a weapon based on its rating. Like, it's very easy to make that procedural, but that's the problem. Again, it's quantity, like, oh, I got a new legendary, versus quality of like, oh, I fought through 30 enemies, but at the end I got the Wabbajack. But you've heard me rant about this one before. What you really haven't heard me rant about too much is the last component of the
This is the last part where I start, you know. But I do feel that when I was in Fallout 3 New Vegas, I would fight through all these enemies and I'd get like something, you know, that would just be like, oh shit. Or even build a weapon that was like, oh shit, this is just awesome. You know, like it doesn't hit the same when there's a couple of them and they're all just like these legendary star weapons that are just shit. They're not really that good. They're just hyped up to be good. They're not good.
shifting focus at Bethesda that absolutely, I think, harms their games. And it's one that I know a lot of you really like. And it's settlement mode. It's building in their games. Now, to be fair, before I go any further, one, as I just said, many more people like this than me. Number two, Starfield was a step in the right direction where it was completely 100% optional. However, in that light, I also feel like they could have just injected that effort somewhere else. And I say that because I do think that this is a contributing reason to why Bethesda has been leaving so many locations hollow in Fallout 4, in 76, and in Starfield. Starfield obviously being the most famous example of those three, of just leaving locations completely barren because they're anticipating you could build anywhere, anyway, anyhow. They leave them empty so you can fill them. And this goes back to what I said earlier about Bethesda's single sentence to kind of bring our interest back to the table. As much as I love participating in the shaping of a world they've made, I want something that Bethesda has built and created the history of. I don't find joy in soulless locations that I then fill with a town of nameless NPCs. And I imagine much of this is wasted breath. Like, I've long predicted, even back to my wish list series for Elder Scrolls 6 back in, I want to say, like 2016, that Elder Scrolls 6 would have some sort of castle builder, some sort of town builder. It would go beyond the settlement mode. It would be a true evolution of it all. And in my perfect world, Bethesda just does what they did with Hearthfire and add this stuff later so they can just focus on making the perfect adventure, the perfect RPG for the bulk of the game's development, and then add this in after the fact. But they are between a rock and a hard place, because for the people who love it, they'd start to co-sign the idea of like, oh, Bethesda just fixes and finishes their games after launch. And the situation you kind of end up in when you make your games this way. So the answer to can they do it is actually similar to a video I saw after our episode of Defining Duke, but before making this, and it's by...
That's crazy. I reacted to that video. And you know what's funny is that video did not get traction the way it should have when it first dropped. When I first watched that video, it had like 8,000 views in like a day or two. And that's not bad views. That's really not bad views. It's not like I'm pulling up views. But it definitely is taking light to the fact that Elder Scrolls 6 situation really is a mess. It just depends on what they do. Regardless, Elder Scrolls 6 is still the second to third most hyped up. I mean, what is the next hyped up drop? Let's be real. Other than GTA 6, Elder Scrolls 6. That's literally the most other hyped up drop. So Elder Scrolls 6 and GTA 6 are the top two. Of course, GTA 6 is the one that could, pull 100 million views once, the official trailer drops, which it does. But, Elder Scrolls 6 is one of those drops where it definitely shifts the real gamer community, not just the people that, they don't play games and they have 2K and then, they have Elder Scrolls 6 laying around. But it's just part of it. But it is a mess, for sure. It definitely is.
Goated Sinro, and it's a good one. You should check it out. Bethesda can do it. Keep in mind, this is a Microsoft-owned studio. They have much more money at their disposal than ever. Not just because, they're owned by Microsoft, money, but because Bethesda is one of the lead drivers of revenue and player count and engagement for a company that cares about those three things. Like, they get tens of millions of players across all their titles every month, and no doubt with Oblivion Remake, that just went up again. Bethesda's games have an ability to pull people back year in, year out. I mean, there's a reason myself and many others have been able to build careers off of the back of their games.
Yep.
So can they do that with the resources and, hot take, the talent? I think they could. However, game design is a finicky thing. And based on the focus I've seen at Bethesda, not only the shifting focus in their business model, but also how they design their games. Irresponsibly large. Fill these worlds. Not just through modders, but fill these worlds with people and towns and shape it yourself. Their focus is so different. And it's weird because they're in between a rock and a hard place. Like, they still do some of the things we know them for that makes all of us hang on by a thread. But also they're kind of like somewhere else in a way. Like, focusing on town builders and recurrent content and keeping these games infinite. When Todd Howard talked about Elder Scrolls 6, he said that he wants it to be the ultimate fantasy simulator. And what that exactly is can be really anyone's guess. I think you can inform a lot of that guesswork from their prior games and how they talked about Starfield being a sci-fi simulation. You could get in your ship. You could see all the different hubs you've built. You could fly around the solar system. To me, as I've said before, the ultimate fantasy simulator really does sound like taking that procedural Starfield tech and trying to achieve what Daggerfall did, except on modern consoles and PCs. And that's being able to explore all of Tamriel with handcrafted locations in between and all of it being continuous. I think if you're going to swan song it up, that's a pretty good way to try and go out. Sounds great on paper, definitely gets me interested, but also sounds very Starfield, which was irresponsibly large and a shifted design focus from the quality over quantity that I knew Bethesda before. So we'll see, but in a lot of ways, believe it or not, Maddie's in the kind of doubt camp. It's very hard to deliver after all these years of waiting for Elder Scrolls 6, even though people are going to say, they've been working on it since 2011. It's like, no, we know they've pit stopped for a few games in between now and then, but Bethesda waiting so long will help them a lot when the game comes out and it sells well, but that...
Yeah, that's the truth. I'm not going to lie. Before this video ends, they have definitely pit stopped between different games to get to Elder Scrolls 6. It could be like, oh, well, they've been working on this game for fucking, almost 2 decades. No, they have not. They have been working on other games. They might have been lucky enough to spend 5 years on this game. Regardless, though, it is still a beautiful game when it does drop, and I will buy it and I will get it because I don't care. But I just hope it doesn't live up to the shit mess that it will. It's so weird. It's like the hype between Elder Scrolls 6 and GTA 6 is completely different. GTA 6 is like, they don't drop anything. They're silent. It's like Playboy Cardi or some shit. They're like, yeah, we're not gonna drop anything for fucking 4 or 5 years, and then keep you waiting, and then we're just gonna like anticipate it, and then push the drop, and then do this and do that. But they never drop anything in between that. Well, he did drop a couple singles, but that's how Elder Scrolls 6 is, where they drop random games that are just like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, Starfield wasn't a shit show completely, but Fallout 76 definitely was one of those like, what the fuck? I think the big thing is that Fallout 76 wasn't supposed to peak the hype of Fallout in general and fuck them up as much as it should have. It should have just been another Elder Scrolls Online but Fallout edition, and it didn't do that because the name of it and the way it was presented, it was like, oh, it's a new Fallout game, hell yeah. It fucked up everything, in my opinion, with Fallout and what the standpoint of it looks like. But regardless, I do think, though, they will come back strong. And regardless, I'll buy it because I don't give a fuck and I want to play it.
That conversation is going to be tough. Not because I am going to set the game up for failure, but it's going to be tough because they have a lot to live up to. And I hope they're well aware of what they need to deliver on. If they can get back to doing what Skyrim did well, I think they're in business. But recent games, 3 of them in a row, have shown me otherwise. And yes, within those 3 are many things I like. So we'll see what happens, but I'm looking forward to reading your thoughts down below.
So the 3 of them he's talking about is definitely Fallout 4, Fallout 76, and Starfield, because those are the 3 top games. People always forget about Doom. I don't understand that. Doom is not a bad game. It's definitely good, but it's one of those weird in-between games where it's like, is it Bethesda?
Hello. Ladies and gentlemen, take excellent care of yourselves, and I will see you in the next Retro Rebound. Peace.